Hello, guys. Welcome once again to the KB Livestock Pod. The wonderful host, Iribami. I want to thank each and every one of you for subscribing, for viewing our content, for sharing, for liking, and for engaging. Sincerely, you guys are amazing. On this week, popular, you know, episode again, we have Sean back with us and my wonderful boss, Wale. How you doing, guys?
Wonderful.
Sean,
Doing
how you
good.
doing? I like your
All
cap.
good.
Actually, it's fine. It's
Thank you.
the thought is actually nice.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah,
Man. Doing good. All good. Um, yeah. How are you? Just
yeah, I'm
working. Just
good.
working.
Good, good.
I don't
I
know.
think you introduced
I'm
yourself
perfect,
before.
dude.
Like, I think if you introduced yourself the last episode, probably the audience can remember or can remember. But I think Mr. Wale is actually um newcomer here, so you have to introduce yourself, Wale, so we can.
Okay, I should introduce myself again.
Okay, you can do that if you want to.
I mean, yeah, I can. Yeah. I'm I'm Sean. I am working on a company called More Connection Co. Basically, I made this device that allows people to feel like they're able to actually eye contact on video calls, and I'm working really hard at that.
Thank you so much, Wale.
All right, thank you. My name is Olawale, and I'm a business consultant, and I'm also into research. Also, so I do most of that just on the front as a freelance. Those are the basic things that I do, and I'm also open to business collaborations and connecting. And it's nice to actually be here with everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you. So the topic for today is why comparison is the thief of joy. I think most times in this day and age, I think we as human beings like to compare ourselves to each other. Maybe it's a thing of competition, maybe it's jealousy, maybe it's just pure arrogance, we don't know. But understanding the concept, the phrase is often, I think it's often attributed to Theodore Roosevelt, or like, why do human beings have the natural tendency to compare themselves to others? That trait, why is it being, learned over time that we have to compare, we have to compete? Or if you see somebody like Sean has a company, I don't have a company. I'm just starting this little thing to be able to, try and get in the world. But I can't see myself comparing myself to you because all I want is the best for you as my friend and everything. But like so that's just it. But why do you think people
Okay.
compare themselves to other people just for comparing sake? Sean.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like comparing is like it's just kind of a natural thing. It's just kind of a natural, like, kind of pattern that we all do, like, throughout our life, like, going about our life, like, wishing, like, oh, I wish I could be like that, or, like, I don't know, like, kind of this, like, feeling of, like, what I have is not enough, like, and this, other thing is, like, if I had this, like, then I'd be, like, more enough, like, and
Oh,
then,
I feel what you have is enough because I think contentment is part of what makes us. I don't want to say like good people or bad people, but even we as human beings have to be content with what we have. You can't have the world, but what all you can do is just to hope for the best and believe that yes, God in itself can help. But like sometimes you have to do away with some things you can't have possibly. Like for example, um, you know Elon Musk is the richest guy in the whole world. I can't crave. is $500 billion. I don't. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I see that kind of money, I will faint. So all I can do is to dream and dream. But like, in as much as I aspire to be somebody, it is just fully for me to be comparing myself to other people because our journeys are different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Our journeys are different. Where we aspire to be might be different. You know, the pathway to where we want to go is actually different. So it's just like, I don't know. I think I'm making sense, but like, it's just
Yeah.
like somehow, Mr. Wally, what do you think?
Yes. That's true. But I think just like what Sean actually said, I think comparison is just a natural thing. But where the issue comes with, like when you said is the thief of time, is the channel we now the way we channel it. It's either it's positive or negative.
Mm.
Because okay, so let me give this instance now. As kids, we all grew up comparing so many things. I'm sure when I was small, I tried to look at watch I don't know if you know about Power Rangers.
Oh yes.
Power
Yes.
Morphin Rangers. We always compared
Uh-huh.
ourselves. We compared ourselves to either be the Red Ranger or the Blue Ranger or this and that. Do you get now? Now these are
Yeah.
positive comparison that we had as kids. But in the line of growing up, we tend to now want more than what we can actually achieve. So that's where the comparison now comes in. By the time we now meet someone that has the things we dream for, we don't want to actually know what the person has gone through to achieve that, but we just want to be there. So that's where the
Wow.
comparison now comes into now still a lot of time and so many things around us. A lot of us, we even grow up. I could actually remember one as a personal story where growing up, would woke up in the morning. Then my dad was still using a small, there's this Peugeot car he was using then. Then we had a neighbor that were using bigger cars. I started comparing. I felt they were even enjoying more than what we were enjoying. So like, there was this level of comparison then because I felt they were into the
Yeah.
bigger cars and all, not knowing that in the family system, their own parents even had personal issues. The father would beat the mother, but my parents were not doing that. But I was only comparing with the car, not with
Yeah.
the family standard and the living. So comparison is
Mm.
a very it's something that we all do naturally, but it tends to have a lot of effects as to our
Wow.
nature growing up.
Wow. I think one of the things that like, how will I put it? For me, it's even actually, much more deeper than that. Like, I think when we were like in school, once it's examination time and results come out, and start comparing our scores and trying to see who got this and what this. I know it's always very toxic because I can write something as my answer, and somebody writes the same thing, and they give the person much more, especially in English language when it comes to like comprehension of essays, and we write the same thing, but that person gets 7/10, I get 5 or 6. So why am I getting 5 or 6 when the person gets 7? I've wrote the same thing. And you go ask the teacher and it says this diction the person used is much more acceptable than what you used. And I'm saying, okay, I don't understand. This is just the same reply to the fucking answer, sorry. But why are you giving me 6 instead of the 7 so that everything can be balanced? It's just crazy at times. These things, how it can actually manifest in our lives, and it can, tend to grow and grow and grow. And sometimes it can actually grow into resentment if you're not careful, because you can end up resenting somebody you're not supposed to resent instead of learning from the person. I think there's this adage that says, you can't resent the rich and expect to be rich, you know.
Mhm.
So you have to respect them, learn from them, try to, emulate what they did to get to where they are instead of bashing and saying, why all these people are like this? Why are they like that? Blah, 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 blah. You know, as human beings, it's a natural tendency for us to compare ourselves to others. Well, it's an inherent trait or a learned behavior. I don't know, but I think it has to be what do you call that thing? It has to be civilized and in a much more appropriate manner. You know, most especially when it comes to this age of social media. Oh my god, it's gone to another level where at some point last year I had to, archive all my pictures on Instagram because
Mm.
the pressure was too much.
Hmm.
The pressure was too much, especially that time I was, single. So once I'm seeing people booed up and everything, it's just what is this? What are people, Even so it's like, oh, all this unnecessary pressure as to why people are, kissing and all this, online. Let's everybody, just stay in one place, and you start to feel sad and lonely because you see people happy, and instead of you to be happy for them, you're just sad and annoyed that why do people get to enjoy this happiness instead of you? What do you think, Sean?
I mean, what do I think about? I mean,
Like,
like comparing on social media, like
yeah, like
comparing your,
social comparison, the impact on overall well-being and mental health. Like,
yeah.
what do
I
you think?
mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I actually, you know, I actually wrote a few papers in when I was getting my master's degrees in psychology about social media.
Mm,
There's one that I wrote, and because there's a lot of research about it, about like how to think about uh, like the impact of social media in your life psychologically, right? Like, so it's like important to know about, um, right? Like,
yeah, yeah, definitely.
and so um, there's a lot of studies about it, and some of them say that people are uh, like it. I think helps it helps people in some ways and doesn't help people in some ways. Like some people don't actually struggle with social media like in their lives, like in like having negative feelings from social media,
Mm, but
because they limit the usage of it. But
okay.
I don't know.
But
I
no, I
struggle with
want
I struggle with that.
what I wanted to know was
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
role of social media in our society today. Like many social media platforms, they intensify the culture of comparison. How
They
do you think all these
totally, they
platforms like
totally,
Instagram, TikTok contribute to the feelings of inadequacies? You see your colleague or your friend
yeah,
driving a Lamborghini at our
yeah,
age, and you say, "Wait, what's this guy doing that I'm not doing? Why is he driving why does he get to drive a Lamborghini? And I'm
yeah,
still taking the bus or the train to work." It doesn't add up. So, like,
yeah.
you know,
It doesn't
and
have.
yeah, I know sometimes in this present day and age, we have societal expectations and cultural norms that make comparison more prevalent. It makes it much
Totally
more.
does. Yeah, it
Yeah,
totally
it
does.
makes it much more like
And that
a
could
bottom
totally
feeding thing.
improve, like that could totally affect negative, like mental health. Like if
Yeah.
people are like always comparing, on social media, like this perfect life that they see, or like whatever, that they see their friend doing, or like their
Mm.
people in their life that they don't have, that is just kind of like a projection. Really, it's just like a few photos of like some highlights, um is like what social media is. Then and if you're always comparing, then that's going to totally negatively affect your mental health, like of
Mm.
course, like
Like for me now, like for me, especially when it comes to meeting celebrities, I think I've met a few. I've not really met some, but
nah.
one thing I've always maintained is like, I don't want
Who did
to
you meet?
oversell
I
it.
have to ask.
What?
Who did you meet? I have to ask.
Oh, okay. For example, today on my way to work, I actually met Trevor Chalobah, Chelsea player.
Whoa, you met a Chelsea player.
Yeah, I'm
Whoa.
a Chelsea fan, so I actually met him. Like it was just like I was in starstruck, and I was starstruck at the same moment because I was rushing to go somewhere, but I met him briefly. And oh, hi, Trevor, how you doing? Cool. That's it. The other
Nice.
day, yeah, the other day, I think sometimes last year, I think Wally is much more conversant with our Nigerian celebrities and the comedians that come here for shows. I met some of them just like on the road, and it's like, oh, so I just went to meet some of them because they had their show. So like, I just went to buy some food or something, and they are trying to go to the same restaurant, and I said, oh hi, how are you doing? I love your videos. I watch your skits, blah 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 blah. And they were cordial. It's not pressure for me. It's just like um, it is not how will I put it? Mm, As how will I put it? High expectation that people make it to out to be, but in such sense, most people now once they see those people, they take pictures with them, they blast it all over social media, like
Yeah.
as their breasts or something, and it is really, 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 sometimes intimidating. I won't lie, because you get to see it. Yes, yes. I said last year I had to archive most of my pictures on social media, not because I was just feeling down because I was seeing all the feeds coming to my social media. Everybody's making it. Yes, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine myself, but like it's just overwhelming at times because a lot of information are passing through. So I made it a point of duty this year not to listen to any negative news, especially news that has to do with celebrity gossip or
Yeah. But so much
um
news is negative now, though. Like,
yeah,
there's
like okay, like
no
yesterday, like
to
I
listen
think
to.
while he's actually conversant with news going on in Nigeria right now, because I think that there's a spark between people that are buying Lamborghini for themselves and people that
Okay, yeah.
so
So,
people.
yes, looking at that from that angle now, well, I can actually say for within the Nigerian context, let me use that now. The social media impact has actually started with a positive impact, but has now moved to the negative part. Because I could remember when the likes of all these skit makers like the Tao, Macaroni, and some other people started their skits, it was more of those
Yeah,
guys trying to make a living.
Hmm.
You get now? But right now, most people going into it are trying to impress. So they switched for
yeah,
trying to make a for themselves to trying to impress every other person around them,
or even oppressed.
or even oppress.
As in,
Because I was privileged to be at a program like December, just last year. I traveled home for the festive, the Christmas seasons and all, and I was privileged to be at a place, just a simple hangout, and I saw like younger kids within the age of just in their early late teens or maybe early 20s, 21, and then the way they were actually acting and spending money. I saw like four of them parking cars. These are cars that even when I was growing up at that age, maybe it was like third, fourth, fifth uncles that were using such
wow,
expensive rides. But looking at those
yeah,
kids having that now, and then there's a boy behind me, and the statement he made was, I sorry, let me use this word from Nigeria. There's a pidgin word. I go reach there.
yeah.
So the
It
one
will
means
get there someday,
to
Sean.
get that he needs to get there. Now he's not looking at whatever they had gone through. He's just comparing himself with them.
Yeah,
And a lot
Hmm.
of things happen on the social media where people just have pictures and videos, then they display things and then you discover it. I
mm,
was at World Bank office some days ago and then I saw someone taking pictures at the elevator. Do you get now? Taking pictures at the elevator, doing videos. Like a week later, I peradventure stumbled upon that same video, and then the person was like just chilling out. And I was like, I saw this video at World Bank building, and you're saying just chilling out. So what are you chilling? And he was actually a cleaner there, sorry.
He
But
was
he had
what?
finished, he's a
it
cleaner,
was clean
a
the
janitor.
building.
Okay.
Yes, he's a
It was
janitor
supposed
there.
to
He
be
cleaned
clean the
the building.
building.
But after finishing his work, he just dressed up, excuse me, and took the picture. Now, people would not see the kind of work he's doing. We had already oppressed a lot of people on the social media by posting that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
Yeah, that's what I'm
suppose,
saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is the bottle like is the bottom feeding kind of thing. I'm not saying
yes,
I'm not denigrating his work because you have to take pride in what gives you food to your table. But
yes.
for the fact that you have to you so fit to take picture in an elevator and try to post it online or do something, it doesn't seem to work how it may. So most times, like this year, I think the only time I posted something was at the beginning of the year because I traveled. So I just wanted to just like have a feel of where I traveled to. so as not to. I think I just did it. Okay, yes, I traveled there, so the first time I've gone on holiday in a while. So I just wanted to just see us like just have an ambience of the new year, new beginning, a fresh start. A lot of ideas was coming to my mind concerning my podcast. So I just felt okay. I just need to post this, and since then I've not posted anything. I think the next time I want to post the pictures of my birthday, and that's it for the year. I think so. I think that's it for me. But like people struggle with this every day, comparing themselves to other people, and it's a kind of problem because it now gets to where people are desperate and they can do anything to measure up to other people's
To meet up,
um,
yeah.
idea of success. Especially when it comes to doing dubious things or doing things that not necessarily would you ever think of doing before because you are so desperate, and a desperate person is actually a very dangerous person. You know, you can do anything to measure up to society and to the status of being who you are. So, Sean, have you ever been in a position where you compare yourself to somebody?
Yeah, all the time.
How did it make you feel?
It makes you feel like shit when you compare yourself to people. Like, it makes you feel so bad. Like when you're like, even if you're kind of comparing yourself in a way where you're thinking like, oh, like I'm better than this person, like, or like, like that's so taking your energy, and that's actually like, there's so many. It's just like the entire game of comparison is like really not a good use of energy.
No, no,
Like
no, no, no.
it's just
I
like
think I want to wait. Just hold on. I think can comparison can it ever be a positive force in someone's life, or is it just
Yes.
detrimental inherently
well, I
to
was
Like,
you?
getting yeah, I was getting there. I agree, but do you go ahead.
okay. No, I just
No,
wanted to add
Sean,
of
you can
that.
go ahead
Yes.
first. Then,
Okay, so no, you can go ahead. Then I'll follow up. You can
No,
go ahead.
are you sure?
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
don't
You
like
can go ahead.
I
I'm
was
the
just
host, so go ahead. Once you
Go
go
all
ahead.
right.
ahead,
Go
you
I was just gonna say uh I was just gonna say like I forgot what I was gonna say. I don't remember what I was gonna say now. You go ahead. You go ahead, and I'll think of it when I'm.
okay. So
All right.
okay,
So
while you go ahead,
it
I think we
says
have to get back to maybe he just feels it's bad. I'm sure he's trying to think of a positive
This
thing.
was too much pressure all at once. I was like,
Don't worry, I understand. I
all
understand.
right. So from like what you just
I'm
said,
thinking.
yes. Okay. It actually can be a positive influence comparison, but depends on what you're trying to compare or look at. Like you could have,
Mm,
I know there are people that actually compare themselves to the likes of Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook. Then I had a friend that compared himself to him then, that he, from the way he did, wanted to build this and that, and truly he actually went ahead to come up with a software and some other things, but he couldn't scale through because there were no investors. They could not bring the whole idea to limelight. Do you get now? And I think at some
mm,
point in time, I've actually compared myself to someone that I saw as a mentor, even though we don't see. But from afar, I've known this is the kind of work this person does, and I like to be like that. But the long run, I couldn't meet up to the level he is, but it helped me to push myself to a certain level. And then when I got to that point, I was like, it's not a do or die thing, man. If you can't get to that stage, be contented with what you have now and then just let it be. Because if I keep pushing more, then I'm moving into the
mm.
negative part of that comparison.
Wow. Yeah. I think I
I
remember
also
vividly in my final year for my bachelor's degree. I had this roommate, and I think he was trying to compare himself to politicians that that I don't know, embezzle money with impunity, and there was
politics.
this like and there was this like crazy figures then, and I was saying, like, let's say you heard somebody took $10 billion and nothing happened, and I say, wow, $10 billion. What can I do with $10 billion? And he was moping about it for like 2 days, and I said, but, bruh, what is going on? Like, he has, you're about to write your final exams, bruh. Just like, get it together, man. All these politicians are, they're living their lives. I'm not sure. I'm not. Those are not good comparisons, actually. I think
Well,
the comparison of the
I just
comparison of the Facebook guy, Mark Zuckerberg, is actually very good. It's just that most times, especially in other parts of the world, funding for projects are actually very hard to come by. So
yeah
many dreams die. But in as much as that is still like can be a positive force in someone's life, there can be
yeah
good comparison, there can be bad comparison. You can't compare yourself to a fraudster and expect any good thing to come out of it. But like you can compare yourself to, how will I put it, a role model, or try to live up to the standard of that person, or try to follow in that pathway, and you can see what actually comes out from it. It's a two-way street. I don't know whether Sean wants to say something about that.
yes, I do. Yeah. What I say, I remembered what I remembered what I was gonna say, which about the positive force that comparison can be. But so I think that comparison is really only useful when you don't have this like self judgment piece along with it. Like,
Mhm.
and I also think that it needs to be like really regulated and be like something done as like a process of improvement
Mm,
specifically. Not, I think that's kind of like the only context where comparison is like going to be a positive force in your life. Like, um, because I think like, the times when if I'm comparing myself to a past version of myself, oh, looks like we
mm,
lost. What do you want to, should I just keep talking about comparison?
mm. So on the flip side, do you have you personally struggled with comparison personally? And if so, how did it affect your happiness and mindset?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I've definitely struggled with that. I mean, I've definitely like been like more like insecure like about myself in relationships, being like comparison about being like or just like in dating, like kind of thing, like thinking like, oh, like I'm not good enough like for this kind of girl or something, like
Mm, I,
um
I understand. So,
yeah, like like that comparison I think I struggle with a lot. uh but also it's like important to recognize like that you know that is a form of comparison, and comparison is the thief of joy.
yeah,
So like if you can get around, like it's hard to like consistently think this way, but like if I could, I would always kind of have this mindset of like understanding that like comparison is like this game that is gonna make me feel worse 100% of the time if I'm playing it, kind of thing.
yeah.
You know?
So how did it affect your happiness, your mindset? Did it change your
Oh,
mindset? Or,
I think it makes you feel terrible when you compare yourself to people. Yeah, I mean,
mm,
like because you're not like your energy is focused on like outside of you, like I wish I could be like them. Like, I wish I could kind of I wish I could be taller. Like, like I wish I could be, have like bigger muscles. Like, I wish I was like more funny. Like, whatever. Like, but it's like, um, all of that is just kind of like, I mean, like it's a human emotion. Like we all feel that, but like it's like it's it really does make you feel not good if you keep like thinking about that like over and over. Like if you're like, because then what does that result in? It results in like, well, I'm never going to get the girl. Well, I'm never gonna get my business is never gonna succeed. If I'm gonna compare, like, well, why am I not good as this person, or why am I not like this? Why am I not making this much money, like instead of this much money? Like that's what my energy is being used on then. And then I don't have energy to build my thing. And then I don't have energy to like feel good about myself and feeling good about like, like I'm doing something, like that's good, like that's hard, I'm like, who else is doing that, like like kind of hyping. I think it's really important like where you put your energy, and like if I'm putting my energy in comparison all the time, then I just know like from times in my life where I've done that, like I felt really bad. Like, I mean, do you feel like that? Like,
Yeah, at times, but also, for a minute, Wale, we can see you. I don't know whether you can see us, but we can't see you.
can't see you.
Yeah, we can see you. Maybe you should reconnect. I don't know, because I want to hear from you. Personally, I think, yeah. Personally, how will I put it? I've struggled with comparison personally.
Yeah.
It can affect your mindset. It can affect your happiness. It can affect your orientation about some things. It's mind-boggling what it can do to you. But um, but but at the same time, okay, yeah, I can see you now, Mr. Wale. Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
He's back.
perfect.
yeah. Power to the people. So we're trying to talk about how personally it's affected us. So as I was saying, personally, yeah, it's affected. Sometimes what you feel, how you feel, your mindset about some things can change. Like I said before, I struggle with comparison personally, especially when I first felt like got back from service to my country, and I was trying to get a job, and it was not the job I wanted, and my other friends were getting bank jobs, and I wasn't making that much money, and it just felt like I wasn't good enough, or I wasn't doing much enough, and I tried to upskill myself. I tried to write my professional exams. I tried to, just try to make things, much more better for me so that I can have more opportunities. But some things were not working, and it was kind of frustrating. But that was before I traveled to the UK. It was kind of frustrating, and it wasn't a good time for me. In the end, how will I put it? I didn't leave the job on good terms, and it was hard for me. But I am happy at where I am today, because I think when I left the job, about a month or 2 months, I just had to travel, and it was kind of a good opportunity for me. But I think comparing myself to my other mates that like we finished school together was I think part of the problem. When I was seeing how they're progressing in their professional careers, and I was kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place, and I didn't see like a path forward. But we thank God for mercy, and I think it took the grace of God for me to come out of such situation and come out on the other end of it happy, and in good standing. But it was like a difficult journey, a difficult
Process.
process for me to be able to endure. But I think It made me stronger. It made me look at life differently. It made me appreciate struggle more because I don't get to denigrate people's experiences anymore. Not that I did before, but I respect you also. I respect what you do to put food on the table for yourself and your family. I respect what you're doing to be able to make your life better, irrespective of what it is. Irrespective of what it is, which is why I said when Wale mentioned the cleaner guy, I wasn't denigrating his service, but like what he did was like trying to create a false narrative. No, be proud of what you're doing to put food on the table. Nobody's gonna feed you. You're gonna feed yourself and your family. So you don't need to compare yourself to anybody to be able to know that yes, you're doing the right thing. So far, you have a
Mhm.
vision of where you want to be, and you can see a path forward moving to be able to achieve set goal. Then you know, well, who cares what other people think? So personally, that was my own you know personal process of coming out of my own comparison. But I can tell you right now, I don't care about other people's um what do you call it life.
Opinion?
I don't say I don't
Hmm?
care about life, but like you can win. Everybody can win, and you can
Yeah.
all be happy.
Okay.
But you now, like what the problem I have is those that live fake life and try to make
Okay.
other people feel bad. Sorry, try to make other people feel bad because they don't have the sense to do what you're doing by faking it. No, it doesn't just make sense to me. Live your life, be authentic, make people see what you're doing. If like I respect people that sell things on social media, that show their hard work and what they do, and try to make something out of it, than people that try to live fake life and other people are the one bankrolling their expenses. And it's a crazy jungle out there, but like you get the gist of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mr. Vala, I just wanted to know if you have a story either from your life or somebody that where comparison led to unhappiness or anxiety, because it's kind of the gist of the whole thing here now.
Yeah, I think I had a personal experience on that. We actually are aware, okay, I think we worked together at Passion View then. So I
Yeah.
worked with him for about I worked with him for about 8 years. We worked together till I got to be the head of operations and all that. So it got to a point where his younger brother left the office, moved to another state, then tried to set up himself there. And then it got to a point where all the ideas I had shared with him, like, hey, I have this idea of let me move to another location. I would open a branch for your company and then I'll run the branch there, which he said no. Then it was the same idea and the same concept that he now used for his younger brother. So I started comparing myself with the younger brother, believing that maybe the brother was better than I am. That was why he decided on doing that. So at the long run, it had so many effects on me that I started doubting the ability, the skills, and things that I could do on my own. Because I felt
Mm.
for that guy, okay, what is he doing better? What are the things that he's more better than I am? But the long run, it took me months to actually overcome that because I was just always comparing. By the time we're having a meeting and then he says something, I feel like, is it because he's smarter than I am? That's why he's having this opinion or this idea. So even things I would have thought about,
Mm.
by the time he says it, I will now feel he's in the right position to say that. Then I started doubting my ability. But the long run, I now discovered no, this is my idea. I came up with this idea. They are using my model of running this company in another location. Then definitely I am better than this. But it took me a couple of months before I
Yeah.
could overcome that and move myself to that stage of you are good at this. So I think yeah, I had that personal experience some years back.
Mm. So, like, where does someone now get to the point of breaking free from that comparison trap? Which is, like, what steps do you take now to now be able to, like, break free? I think for me, what made me, like, open my eyes was, like, okay, just realize that, okay, you are your own person. I think our lives are different. No
Yeah.
matter what you want to do, everybody cannot. end up the same way, and it's a painful truth. Once you come to accept that painful truth, that yes, not everybody is going to end up in this direction. Whatever what you want to say, whether I don't know, you just have to not everybody's going to end up in this direction. So some people are going to fall by the wayside. Some people are going to move on. Some people are going to catch up later. It's a way of life. It's life. You understand? I think so. Once somebody accepts that truth, then I think that's the first step
Yeah.
to being humble. And moving to the next stage. I don't give you the analysis. It's just like this Premiership where they play this EPL Premiership football. I think last season, Man City and Arsenal. I think they are rivals now or something. I don't know, but like last season they played their match and Arsenal were the better team, but Man City were champions. So obviously champions at least find a way to get a result out of the match and something like that. So they drew the match. Then the striker of the Man City club will say, stay humble, eh? Like try to denigrate their performance. And those people say, why are you saying this rubbish? That's what they say. Why are you saying this rubbish? Like, okay, you drew the match, but that one said, okay, this season, Arsenal can't. I don't know that they were just waiting for them. Maybe they were just waiting for them. I think it was actually, maybe it's this season, maybe the second leg. They were waiting for them. Guess what? They beat. They gave them 5 or 6-0. I can't remember. So that be humble that the guy said the first game or something was like a social media meme that so like I think the realization that everybody is not the same is the first step to, getting out of that bubble that yeah, we are gonna be ending up in and singing kumbaya and everybody's gonna be happy
Yeah.
and no. You can't everybody cannot end up the same. I think it was someone like in the UK or United States that said, okay, in this class there are presidents, there are also engineers. Also in this same class, some of you might, end up in places that are not so good. So it just depends on, how you now
It's
decide
right.
to make that acceptable. That yeah, in as much as we are all believing in God for a better life or a better future, the only person that we can look up to make sure that that life is achievable is God and your hard work and discipline. If you lose sight of that and decide to look at other people's journey, you will not follow your own path. You will not be following another person's journey, mimicking them, thinking you're going to get the same result. Meanwhile, sometimes it can be, but you will not be as respected as the person that got there first or did that thing first.
Yeah.
So what is now left is that okay, you have um, you have done that, but people say that okay, this person is the one that did it first and did it better than what you're doing. So what's not the purpose of that? But you know, I think breaking free from that comparison trap is the first thing is just the realization that you have to be your authentic self, trying to not, be somebody you are not. Especially when it comes to social
Yeah.
media, it's a really really hard life people are living out there. But we just have to we just have to break free from that illusion and make sure that yes, we know that yes, you're living a cool and straight life. So I think after that, what other steps do you think people can take to make sure that yes.
Self questions is one. If you can easily ask yourself, why am I actually comparing? That should
Mm,
be able to help you answer the question that you will know if that comparison is worth it or not. For my own
wow.
part, I think
Yeah.
that's one major thing.
Mm. Yeah, I think just to add on that, to me, like, I think, um, it's just important to recognize that
Mm,
comparison is almost never good. Like, unless you're comparing yourself to yourself, kind of thing. Like,
Yes.
like, like like unless it's like focused on like self improvement.
Yeah.
I don't value comparing. I don't value comparison. Like it's just not so. And so I think like in order to come out of that, it's like really important to just logically understand, kind of logically understand, that when you're comparing yourself to other people, and you're kind of like looking down on yourself, like in a way, like you're kind of like, oh, like it's like the same thing that we've been saying kind of this whole time, like of like that's like how you stop comparing yourself. Like anytime that you forget it, like you catch yourself comparing yourself to other people, you can just kind of remember this thing of like, oh, like this is just like kind of a version of me saying like I'm not enough. I'm not enough for this reason, or like that reason, or this reason. I'm not enough. Like this reason, that reason, whatever. And it's like, you know, you begin to recognize that like that's all the same thing. It's just like different things telling you that you're not enough, and um and that's like kind of a function of comparison, like because like I don't see if I like let's for example, like if I see someone and I'm like, damn, like they look way cooler than me, like I really like their fashion, like they look really cool, like it's a different perspective to have a perspective of like being like, wow, what's that like stuff that you're wearing, like that's really cool, like I that's really cool, like I want to dress better, versus the perspective of I could never look good, I could never be like that,
Like
you know there's no version of me that is fashionable and looks good, and it's like, so it's like, it's like, okay, like one is clear, you gotta like understand that that's what comparison is doing, and like that's the pattern of comparison that's like propagating in your life, like not like so like if you're and we all do it, like it's kind of like I think it just like happens like subconsciously, comparison, like but it like it's it can be brought like more to awareness, and like I think that we can like do work to like stop comparing ourselves to other people, and like start looking at ourselves in a better perspective, because I think that when you're comparing yourself all the time, that's the result that I find it has on me. It makes me feel like I'm looking down on myself, and that's not good. Like that's not a good way to be. Like
Obviously, definitely. It's
you want to be loving yourself.
yeah, just be yourself, man. Like it's not a good place to be. It's just like it's how will I put it? It's a shitty place to be, honestly. It's a shitty place to be. Comparing yourself to other people, you just feel bad for yourself and keep like,
Yeah,
and the
because
hatred just keep going and going and going and going, and you don't know why you're just like sad or why you're just
yeah,
angry. It's crazy at times, but
well,
like
yeah, it is.
yeah. So final thoughts. How can we as society, how can we encourage self acceptance? And reduce the pressure of this constant comparison. How can we accept? I think rather than trying to live up to somebody else's life expectations, how can we just encourage self acceptance? Yeah, this pressure of society, pressure of making it, pressure of having a lot of money, and just trying to live up the life instead of reality. How can we as a society encourage self? I think I'll give Wally the last word. So then we'll just round up from there.
Perfect.
All right. So can I go ahead, or Sean is going
Yeah,
first?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. So having the mindset of self acceptance and all, I think the first thing we need to look at is for us to have our individual definition of success and a standard of
Mm.
living.
Yeah.
That's a major thing. It's just like when they say poverty level, they might say someone that is living below $1 is poor. Do we get
Mm.
now? That might be a
Yeah.
definition of it. But if we look at the African context of a subsistence, someone that is into farming, I might be able to farm and then I can feed myself, and
Mm.
I'm not even spending a single dollar in a day. But I've done some things to do that. So we need to have our individual
Mm.
definition of success and standard of living. That will definitely help us to know I'm achieving this or doing that, instead of us comparing ourselves to say this person is living this life. This is the kind of life I want to live. Now, that's not you
Mm.
setting your own personal standard. You're trying to meet up with someone else's standard.
Mm.
We get now. So those are just
Yeah.
so that's just one major thing that we need to know, and then we now need to know our limits.
Mm.
Let me use this illustration now. I know, like, then going out with friends, would go out and then 4 or 5 friends are together, then possibly taking alcohol and drink, and then you see someone taking 3, 4, 5 bottles, and then another person is there. He wants to meet up to that standard. Then I can take the same thing. It's you might not have that mental capacity to do that.
Oh my God.
Do we get now? If you don't have that mental capacity to
Yeah.
do that, if it's just a single bottle you can take, young man, it's okay for you. Nothing says you are not a man at that moment. You've already gone
I
out with
think
the
it's part
man.
of peer pressure at
Thank
that
you.
moment.
So that's another thing. So that pressure is there.
You
So we
know?
need to try to avoid all of that. So if we're able to pinpoint those things within our life and say, no, this is the kind of life I want. I might say I want to live a life of, at the end of the day, I need a house that has 20 rooms. And then someone says I need a house that
Mm.
has 3 rooms. We're still having the same house. Do we get now?
Yeah.
But the number of rooms are
Yeah.
different. And I might get old and it's just me and my wife remaining in the house. The whole 19 rooms are
Mm.
useless. And then someone that has just three
Yeah.
rooms has enough space around. So our mindset and our approach towards this is the standard of life we want to live, I think that's very important. So if we're able
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
write that down, that will definitely help us. That's my thought about it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Sean, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think it's just. I mean, I think I said kind of most of the way I feel about it is like, um, it. I just think it's really important to have this, deep understanding that like, comparison is gonna leave you feeling a certain way
Mm.
that's not very good, um, and it's not gonna empower you to change the things that you were comparing yourself in the first place, because you're going to be feeling bad,
Mm.
and and then and I think that it's I think on the piece of like self-acceptance, like it's really important to build yourself up, and like
Mm.
there's so many
Yeah.
messages out there that are like telling you all the time why you should be comparing yourself. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, how many things do you hear about like that? Like, I mean, that's like all you hear is like you should
Wow.
is like ways that you should do, like you should be this way or that way, or
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's like all you hear. Like, it's like the only thing I hear about
Mm.
it. So it's like, you know,
True.
it's exhausting if you're like taking that in. And
Yeah.
so, I just think it's important to be like, okay, like, understand like comparison is going to result in this feeling, and like be on your own
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sean. Oh yeah.
important
No,
thoughts.
thank you. But for the final word on why comparison is the thief of joy, honestly, at its core, the shift on focus away from personal growth and fulfillment towards external validation and unrealistic benchmarks. In the world, this world we are living now is driven by social media highlights, societal pressures, and ever evolving definition of success. It's easy to fail. It's easy to fall into the trap of measuring our worth against others. But we should also know that true joy comes from within, rooted in gratitude, self acceptance, and appreciation for our unique journey. Like I said before, instead of comparing, we should strive to cultivate, a mindset of abundance where another person's success is not diminishing our own. The fact that
That's
someone is successful doesn't make sure, yeah, so focus on progress over perfection, celebrate
Mm.
individually. Let's
Progress,
be
not
free of
perfect.
ourselves. Yeah, let's be free of ourselves of the burden of
mm,
unnecessary competition. Somebody bought Lamborghini today. Of what importance is that to me? I don't know. So as we learn to replace this comparison with contentment, let's so that we can create a space for genuine happiness. We should let deeper connections and a more fulfilling life. So in the end, joy is something that we find through. It's not something that we find through external validation. It's something that we nurture from within ourselves. And I'm sure that yes, you know, everybody can take one or two lessons they want to learn from that. I want to sincerely appreciate Wally and Sean for coming on today, taking time out of a busy schedules to, come. I'm still going to extend invitations to you guys because I still want to see you again
well,
sometime. I really appreciate it, honestly. It means so much to me that you guys could honor my invitation and come. Um,
Thank you for having
for our
us. It was
listeners, thank
for
you
having
once
us.
again for tuning in. We want to thank you for supporting us. We want to, you know, please share the content, engage, comment, share your views. We want to know what your opinion is, so you can drop that in the comment box, and let us know what you think. Thank you so much. So till next week, before we see you again. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you.